Who's that? Look at him. Good girl. It's okay, we'll go over that.
Look at you. You look like you've grown. Is it possible?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Poppi.
Don't let her jump on me.
So, here, don't, careful, you'll get roped for doing that. So,
Poppi. Poppi.
no, it's okay. So, so what we want to do, and a lot of people make the same mistake, is we develop her impulse control and her self-control by not feeding into things. So like when she goes up like that, go ahead and ask your daughter to stop giving her attention and not do anything else.
Ignore her, basically.
Ignore her until she settles. There you go. Now then give her attention. There you go. Good. And then when she gets too excited, turn yourself off again from the fun. And then when she calms down, good girl.
Yeah, I know, right? Good girl.
That's a good girl. You can't jump on me though.
Turn on. Look at her.
It's okay. You don't have to turn around or anything. The main thing is
I
to,
just have incisions.
yeah. The main thing is to turn yourself on and off like a switch. Because what you're mostly dealing with is excitement more than anything else, and expectations, right? Okay. Good. And then go ahead and start again. Girl. Okay. And then just ignore it. There you go.
That's a good girl right
Good.
there. That's a good girl. Yes. That's a good girl.
Good.
Good girl. That's a good girl.
Good. There you go. So what you want to do is, instead of giving commands and pushing off, because then she doesn't have to really control herself, because then you're controlling her, you want to set certain expectations for her to meet in order for her to get the attention that she wants out of her excitement. And you can easily practice that at home by just playing with her and then stopping. And then as soon as she kind of disengages or shifts down, go ahead and give her praise for shifting down and then starting the play again. So that way she learns to calm and control herself when she's really excited.
By the way, here's our here.
Hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Did you guys get a chance to watch her social session?
We did. She did good. I was surprised. Oh, well, she made it through there.
Good girl.
How's she doing at home?
Good. Just having fun with the other pups. Practicing.
Did you have any baby bunnies?
Luckily, no.
Good.
Yeah. I think because they just saw one sneak out of there that they were thinking that there was more in there. So they just kept going. I checked it out and then I let them check it out. And then afterwards they were fine. What's that? Good girl. There you go. There you go. Because all she wants is that like affection and attention. So the main thing is just not reward her for the incorrect behavior. And then if you really want to give a command to calm her down or anything after she's learned that self-control, then when she's coming up to you, like before, especially if she's really excited, either have her on you so she can't make it all the way. And then once she kind of gets used to you by walking around a bit and calming down that way, then trying to engage with her. Or once she gets really good, then you can ask her to sit or settle while she's approaching you. So then she doesn't get the opportunity to jump, but then she kicks back into that self-control. Oh, is it gonna be her first winter? Good girl. Good.
Good girl.
Does she like balls? Just to practice while she's still kind of excited. Very good. Same thing, just play with it. When she gets excited, there you go. See, expectations to sit to get what she wants, and then you can give her that praise, or then you can give her the ball, or there you go.
Poppi.
So this is one of those instances, right, when she's got something that she's focused on and engaged with, and so sometimes it can be harder to disengage her and get her attention back. So it's just moments like these when you want to recognize why she's not listening or paying attention to you. There you go. Good girl.
That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy. Ready? You sit.
A good way that you can practice her impulse control too, especially with the ball effect, is just having her wait as you normally would before you throw it. But then the kicker is to have her wait after you throw it. And I'll kind of show you how we can practice that here. So you'll have preferably a spotter. That'll be me to start off with. Poppi. Hup. Yes. Good girl. Wait. Good girl. I know. Go ahead and get the ball. Yeah. So you see how I give her one command and then I wait for her to work through it. A lot of times we almost do too much micromanaging with puppies, either having them either repeating commands or forcing them to do things. The main thing, especially for younger pups, so that way they grow and develop faster, is to have them do more things on their end mentally. So they have to think about what they need to do to get what they want. So start off easy. You'll have your spotter here. Have the leash pretty close so she can't move too much, right? We'll wait for this.
What are you doing?
You're distracting. Put that down.
It's okay.
Put it down.
Wait, but we're
We-
trying to do something. Oh.
It's okay, we can do it with the stick too. You can do it with anything that catches her interest, right? Just wait. And then when you drop it, it moves and she goes to go after it. That's when you reinforce the weight. You can have your spotter help you at first, but eventually, of course, we want her to do it on her own. So we start off easy. Wait. Okay. You kind of see how she failed there. So go ahead and grab the ball and toss it back to me again. Wait. Good. Go ahead. So, if you start an exercise and she fails, then it's a good idea to try to figure out a way that you can make it easier for her. So the movement of the ball was enough to kind of break her focus on waiting and kick in that impulse control that she had. Obviously, a lot of room to grow and develop. But that's going to be your starting point. So we will kind of work backwards from there. You want to go ahead and grab the ball? And then if you want to toss it. Good, good. Very good. Whoop. Meant to just break off a little piece.
Like that.
I know, right? Wait. Wait. Almost. Okay. Good. Good observation. So this time, when we get the ball from her, we'll have you drop it a little bit further away, and I'll hold her back. There you go. All right. So take a couple steps back, and go ahead and drop the ball. Good. Wait. And now go ahead and release her to get the ball. Distracted with the kid. Go ahead, go get it. There you go. Now we did the same thing, but now somebody drops it a little bit from a higher distance up. There you go. All right, and that'll be good there. So go ahead and ask her to wait.
Wait.
And as your spotter, you really just want to help her. You don't want to hold her back the whole time, right? So it's going to be really momentary. So try to drop it from maybe like a foot from the ground, and then reinforce the weight.
Wait.
Good. Very good. Go ahead and pick it up again. And then ask her to wait.
Wait.
There you go. Good. Now she's waiting on her own. Now try to drop it higher, from higher this time. Okay, that works. Good. Good. You go ahead and pick it up one more time. Now drop it from even higher. And then ask her to wait.
Wait. Wait.
Almost. You kind of see how she almost held herself, but then on that second bounce, the movement goes.
Wait.
So that's where your spotter comes in, right? You don't want to hold her back the whole time. You just want to help her in those moments. Okay, now try that distance one more time.
Wait. Wait.
We've got both dogs and rolling luggage over there.
And also the stick right there.
Oh, nice. Good girl.
You can thank her sister for that. Wait.
Good. Okay.
Wait.
Good. Now release her to get it.
Nice. Come on. Come on.
Good. There you go.
Good girl.
Okay.
Wait.
Now, because she didn't move, I didn't have to do anything. So that's something important as well.
Wait. Yeah. I'm gonna throw it to you. Wait. Wait. Drop it. Wait.
Good, right there. See? So I helped. He reinforced the command. Now try it one more time from the same distance.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Wait.
Very good. Almost. We'll try it one more time and then we'll do a different exercise.
So it's good though to have kids around.
There you go. Okay, now ask her to wait. Or, oh, almost.
Wait.
Try again.
Okay, keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going.
There you go. Okay. Okay. She's like, where'd it go? Let's do it one more time since we got the ball again. Here, we'll go this way. So go ahead and ask her to wait.
Wait.
Now she's doing it on her own. She did wait before she got distracted again. It's okay.
Sit.
Good, there you go.
Wait. Wait. Go. Go. Look at it. Look at it.
There you go. Good. Very good. So you kind of see that she has now to work on that release part of the command, right? Because she's unsure of when it's actually okay to go now, because now we've been working on just the stay part. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's good to take play breaks and let her kind of run around, get some of that energy out during the sessions too. Any questions on that exercise before we move on to the next one? Okay. Well, I figure we'll do is a couple walking exercises and then we'll do a social session downtown. we might need to get the ball back.
Come here, baby. Poppi. Poppi.
You want to trade her for a treat?
Pop it. Or a stick.
Or a stick?
Hey, Poppi. Here's your stick.
There you go. Good girl.
Good girl.
Good girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good girl.
Why don't you get the food for this?
There you go. That works.
Stick.
So we'll put this away for now.
I know it. Fall down.
On.
Come on, Poppi.
And just like with the last exercise, we're going to start off easy, especially since there's a lot of distractions going on. She's got some excitement with her family and the girl. But at least she's at that point where she knows what to do. It's whether or not she can control herself to do it is where you're mostly going to concentrate your efforts in practice. That's why it's important to actually get her hyped up so she can learn and calm down.
Right.
So just take those opportunities when she's too excited just as a learning opportunity as well.
Yes, a good girl. That's a good girl. Yes, it is. Gee.
So to try to get her used to leash pressure again and not just pulling while the leash is tight, We're gonna start off on a long distance, and we're gonna pick an objective to get to, right? So she's got plenty of space to go left and right, to smell things, to explore things, and we're just gonna work on leadership. Oh, that's cool. So that was the first goal, is just get to the big tree. Next goal is to get to the fountain. Might be a little bit difficult with all the other obstacles in the way, but you know, good girl, right?
She didn't lose her mind.
She's doing good. I'll go to that big tree. There'll be less stuff in the way. So there's a pup over there. And so what we want to do is we want her to get used to just redirecting and following us when she feels the leash. And then you can add in like calling her name and everything else to on another different practice. Because what happens is if you call her name while you're trying to practice leash pressure, you don't know if she's responding to either her name or the leash. And we want her to get used to just responding to the leash, so that way you can use it as a tool. Right? So she went the wrong way, good girl. But as soon as she refocuses and comes back the right way, that's what you're really focusing on. Okay? Just trying to get to the
Self-recognition.
Good girl. Okay. Same thing this time, but now we're gonna aim for that other tree over there, and I'm gonna cut the leash distance in half. And you'll kind of see what happens when we start shortening the leash. She has less leeway to go the wrong way, but the objective is still the same. Good girl. Right, so she's veering off. Yes, good girl. Veering off. Yes, good girl. And your main focus is to lead her where she wants to go. It's not to peel her away from going the wrong way or anything. You want the leash to do the work for you on that part. Good girl, very good. So you kind of see there, she feels the tug of the leash. It should mean that she's going either the wrong way, too far ahead, or my mom and dad are going a different way. We'll do it one more time with almost a regular leash length right there. And we'll try to make our way to the fountain. And you can kind of see progressively as the leash, of course, gets shorter, she has less leeway for air. But your goal still remains the same. Good girl. All right, so she gets distracted going that way. Gets distracted going that way. Good girl. Back that way. Good girl. Too far ahead that way. Very good, there you go. So when she goes too far ahead of you, just straight, you can either pause and wait for her to redirect, or when she goes to the side, there you go, good. You can continue moving forward. The main thing is to not let her just continue making progress the wrong way, even if that way is ahead of you as well.
Distractions are probably what we would have anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Good girl. The main thing for you to try to focus on is your destination and to try to keep the leash as loose as possible. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Just reward her whenever she comes back or refocuses on you. Want to give it a shot?
Anybody can make
Okay. I'll do a kind of the medium-long leash first. Maybe right there. All right. So go ahead and pick a destination. I'll give you a couple treats in case she refocuses on you. You can just break it up into smaller pieces. And then just go ahead and start. Yeah, that's going to happen when it doesn't automatically retract, unfortunately. I got a 50-foot leash to do the same thing with. It's just a pain to work with. So just do your best to not hold on to that part. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay. Good. There you go. Good. And then give her a treat for that. She got you distracted. So try to have a treat ready if ever possible, so that way when she is paying attention, you can quickly reward that. It'll get easier once the leash gets shorter again. And just keep going. Perfect. Good. Good. Right there. Good. There you go. It'll get easier with the shorter leash. We'll do that for the next session or the next part. That way it doesn't just keep getting tangled up. Good. There you go. Good girl. Here, I'll go ahead and shorten it up for you. Because we're more contesting with that than anything else. So just go ahead and lock it at like a regular.
Right
Yeah,
there.
there you go. And now just pick another objective to go to.
Good girl. You're good. So here we go.
There you go. Good. There you go. Good. It'll take some practice, but do your best not to stop to give her treats, but just give her treats while you're still moving to the same direction. And that'll help to kind of keep her focus as well. Good, there you go. Good, there you go. Okay. Perfect, good. Good. Very good. There you go. Good. There you go. Here, I'll switch her to a normal leash so that way it'll be easier to.
There's 3 of them. So give her some when she's
Paying attention to you. Yep.
Small food. She is so you just let her come back to you.
Just keep walking. Your goal is to just give her somewhere to go. Good. Good girl. Very good. There you go. Why don't you try to take the trail down back to the fountain there by the Christmas lights. Just walk the trail straight. Good. Good, there you go. Go ahead and give her a treat. Good. Yep, keep going. And right there. Good.
I started going like this.
Very good. Go ahead and give her the treat. There you go. Good. Now go ahead and do a circle around there and then back to your parents. Good girl. There you go. Go ahead and give her a treat for looking at you. Good. There you go. Good. Go ahead and give her a treat for looking at you. Good. Hi, sorry. Good. There you go. Go ahead and give her another treat. It's okay. We'll get some more back in home. Does anybody else want to take a turn before I take the last one?
You go ahead. I'm trying to
Gotcha.
chill.
Let me try her again.
Alright. There you go.
I got some more in my hand.
I can come here the week one.
No problem. Okay.
Okay, let's go, Poppi.
Alright. So just go ahead and walk the circle because she's going to go outside in different directions and it'll be an easy path for you to take. Good. And there you go. Good. Right there. Perfect. Okay. So pretty much whenever she refocuses and pays attention to you and where you're going on the walk is the perfect time to give her that praise and that treat. Perfect. Good. Because we really want her to get used to following us. Good. And then you can go counterclockwise too if you wanted to. You'll find that the more that you start switching up directions and making it kind of a game for her to have to follow you, the easier it'll be for her to pay attention to you because you're just more engaged. Now the opposite of that is going to happen when we start walking downtown because we usually have to walk in just a straight line and all the distractions are going to go from left to right. That was good. You see that? Good. Very good. There you go. Good. Good. Very good. Perfect. Good. Very good. Very good.
Good girl.
Good girl. There you go. So especially at first, the more engaging you can make the walks, the more she actually has to pay attention to us and where we're going. And as I was telling him, it can devolve into like a fun game where you're trying to get away from her and then you'll find that she actually sticks on you more. Whereas we'll have the opposite problem downtown because we'll start walking in like a straight line more and all the distractions will go from left to right and left to right. So now the environment is more engaging than we are.
Right.
And that's where we'll have to practice holding and maintaining and regaining focus.
Yeah.
Good girl. There you go. Very good. There you go.
Good girl, Poppi.
Perfect. Good girl. All right. Good girl. Ready to hit up downtown?
Sure.
All right. I'm going to turn this on since it's starting to get a little background. All right. So what we'll do is I'll take her first.
Okay.
Just because for her social work, there's going to be a couple things to go over, right?
Okay.
She barks when she's unsure. She barks when she's excited.
Here, I'll give you that right there, last one. So go ahead, I'll go. I'll go.
family's coming too, don't worry. It's the treat.
We
It's
have
over
no
here.
treats.
Good. Very good. Yes, one more. Yes, good girl. So this is how we practice maintaining that focus on a straight line walk. Is I'll just get her attention for a little bit, and I'll have her hold it. And then as soon as she loses, I lose her attention, and then she gives it back to me, I give her a treat. And then as she gets better, you can give her a treat every other time she gives you her attention back or so on. Okay. 1. I'll count to 3 this time. 2. Lost. Yes. Good. Come. 3. Good girl. It's okay. It's just she just wants to go up to her family and then
That's
other
fine.
members and stuff. So we're gonna start off where it's gonna be a little bit slower and quieter,
Okay.
and then we'll come back where it's gonna be busier. Good girl. We're gonna have to play around with the leash length a little bit as well, just because we want her to kind of take the time to smell and explore and go through things, but at the same time we don't want her to get in trouble or say hello to the strangers. Good girl. Good girl. Very good. Okay. So I'll start the counter. 1. Good. 2. Good. 3. Very good. Then I'll just kind of let her go. Eventually we'll have that release command like you do for the waiting for things to let her know to stop paying attention to us. And since she's just getting used to holding that attention for now, I want to reward her just by letting her kind of go and get her freedom, and then reward her. That way I can just reward her again for when she comes back to me naturally. Good. Very good. 1. Good girl. 2. Good girl. 3. Good girl. And you'll notice the more that she maintains that focus on you, it's more like that traditional heel work where she's not pulling all over the place anymore because she's focused on you. Now, as soon as we stop that, that's when the environment takes it back over. You have to think of it like a record player being at a concert. You know, just because you stop giving inputs and commands doesn't mean that the music doesn't stop playing in the background for her. It usually becomes even louder because now she doesn't have anything else to listen to. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. So same thing there. I want to try to just practice her feeling the pressure on the leash and then just coming back to us on her own accord. If necessary, said you can call her and give her those commands. Good girl. Wait. Good wait. Okay, come on. Good girl. Yes.
Thinking about going up there, huh?
Good girl. So same thing, we want to try to make the walk as pleasant for her as possible too by not constantly pulling her away from the smells that she's interested in, because we don't want her to just constantly be pulling us to the smells that she's interested in. So it's kind of like that give and take. Good girl. Here, if you want, I'll give you guys treats so that way if she checks in with you guys, you can give her something as well.
Here, I'll bring it down.
You got it? Okay. And then the same thing applies to like when you're marking, you know, your leadership on where you want to go. Like I just want to go to the end of the street there. Just gonna give her some time, so we'll use that.
Nothing cheesy.
Okay. Oh no. Well, hopefully she doesn't get sick.
No.
Well, the joys of working downtown.
Yep.
We'll have to keep a closer eye on her. But as I was saying, the same principle stands. You know, I have a goal in mind that I want to get to, and I want us to get there together, and I want her to do her part in that. I don't want to be guiding her and pulling her the entire time.
He gave up too.
You need some breath freshener now, Poppy.
Good girl. Good. One. With me. Yes. Okay. Good. Two. Good girl. With me. Yes. Three. Good girl. And as she gets better, you just increase her count. You know, every other third treat, every other fifth, or every other third redirect, every other fifth redirect, 10th redirect, until you're at that point where you can kind of just give her a treat whenever you want to. Good girl. But especially since she's still learning at first, and because also there's so many distractions down here, the more often that we do it, the easier it'll be for her. Good girl, good leave it. I think that was Brett. Very good, good girl. So you may end up just breaking off or having multiple smaller treats would be good for her. So that way you can just give more as well. Good girl, good baby. Wait till they get big. I know. There we go. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Yes. Very good. And now that we're going to start getting into more of the populated part of downtown, we'll want to really try to give her as much of an opportunity to see people coming and get used to them as much as possible. She usually does the best when she has ample time, and or she gets to close the distance and smell them, but not interact with them. So sometimes the interactions are okay, people can get a couple pets in. Then other times the interactions can be too much for her, and that's when she starts barking at them. So you really have to just kind of gauge it by how she's doing and how she's, you know, reacting and how she's behaving. Good girl. Come. Very good. I know, you see them. Good girl. Very good. So now what I want to do as well, so I'll probably stop giving her as many treats for redirecting and walking, and more treats for when she sees somebody and looks back at me without barking. Just so I don't let her. Almost. Almost. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. So far, from what I've found, it's a lot easier for her to be behind people and then moving away as opposed to people moving towards her. Good girl. There you go. Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, watch it.
Okay. Got it? Good girl. So the people that are interested in interacting with her, I just try to do my best to let them know that, you know, she is friendly, but she gets a little bit nervous and she will get barking. So here's a good example of people walking towards us. So what I'll do is I'll go in this space here. I'm trying to get her attention early. Good girl, very good. So you can see, if you get her attention first, it's almost like warming her up. I want her to see them, then look back at me without barking, and then she gets the treat. So she gets used to seeing people without it being too uncomfortable for you or for them. Ooh, look at that. Go that way. Good girl, come. 30%. Yes, good girl. Good girl.
Go, Poppi.
Very good. Luckily, it's a Sunday evening and it's a bit cooler out, so it's not too busy downtown, but you'll want to take that into consideration as well when you're socializing her. Right now, we're starting her off slow, easy, with just a few people here and there. And then as she gets better and more comfortable around people, then, we'll work up to the Friday nights or something like that, or Saturday mornings.
I haven't either.
Huh. I like to use the squares here as part of like the walking exercise as a little break for her as well. And all you do is just kind of turn with the squares. Good girl. And then you expect her to follow you. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Good. Good girl. You can give her a quick shot?
Sure.
This is something fun and easy. It just goes back to her now really focusing on where you're going and what you're doing. And all you just have to do is just use the leash to help guide her. I think she's pretty much at that point where it's become a game when you're trying to lose her and she's going to stick on you. There you go, good girl. There you go, good girl. Good girl. You kind of see how now she has to put forth more effort on her end to pay attention to where you're going, as opposed to all the effort before being on your end trying to get her to focus on you and follow you. Good girl. There you go, good girl. Good. Very good. Good girl. Good, right there. Perfect. Good girl. All
Wait. Oh, good girl.
right, ready to head back downtown?
Sure. You guys ready?
Oh, good girl.
Good girl.
She likes her treats,
Oh yeah.
right? Good.
Okay. Good girl. No.
So have her direct back to you after seeing it.
Good girl. Good girl, Poppi.
And since they're sitting, this is a good opportunity that we can use to kind of gauge how you can help her get used to people who are sleep without talking. Start off with it. Good job. It's okay. It's good that she's paying attention. So I'm just gonna walk back towards them, and the goal is to try to get her either relating or mating focus on us, as opposed to looking at them. So it's gonna be really about communication and good. Since they're talking to, that'll also draw good girl, perfect right there. That'll also draw more attention to them as well. It's not that we don't want her to see them, we want her to see them and not bark. Good girl. Very good. Good girl. Good girl.
It smells good over here. Come on.
So much stuff there. Girl's good. Good girl. It's the same thing, especially if you know that somebody's coming. Good girl. Very good. Good girl, Poppi. Good girl. Very good.
How beautiful you are.
Mm-hmm. She's doing good.
What a good girl.
Good girl, Poppi.
Something to be aware of too is like if there's too many people or too much going on for her downtown or anywhere else, she doesn't have enough of like a cool down time between events. So what ends up happening is because she's all barking and excited from the last person, she carries that excitement over to the next, stranger, and she's more likely to bark there. So it's important if you see her starting to get too worked up or too excited, then try to find somewhere like kind of like what we did to just give her a moment to get a break in. Good girl. Very good. Yeah, you're doing good. So here's that difficulty, right? So we start going straight, and then there's distractions all around that are turning. But the goal is still the same. If she starts pulling too much, just to slow her down. And we want her to really get used to just paying attention to and smelling and observing things that are within her reach. Good girl. So that wasn't in her reach because the leash was telling her that. So she has to either come back to me or explore something where it's not behind her. This is where you just kind of slow down the walk a little bit, and sometimes you can help. You just have to be mindful of what's around here. So the path is going to get a little narrow, so we'll shorten up the leash a little bit. Good girl.
That's a good girl.
All right. So we'll let everybody else pass. Good girl.
When I was at Sequel, not in that area.
Good girl. She just ran. Oh, there's somebody there. Good girl. Alright, good girl. Alright. Oh yeah. Good girl. There you go. There's that nice cigar we were smelling. Good girl. So it's kind of the same thing here. I want to try to minimize the pulling as much as possible just because there's so much for her to explore, and I really want her to get used to different scents and everything. At the same time, I don't want her to pull me as well. So trying to linger whenever she gets a scent that's close enough by, but then if she starts hard pulling, good girl. I just stop so she doesn't need more practice. Good girl. Poppy. Good girl. Good. I guess we could probably go. All right, come on. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Hi, how you doing? Good girl. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Good girl, Poppy.
Hi. So pretty.
Oh,
Oh,
almost.
sorry.
It's okay. She gets nervous.
Okay.
Good girl.
Sorry.
Have a good one.
Crap out of that.
It's okay. I was about to let her know that she might bark, but it's too late. But you can kind of see what it means. Like, she's good with very brief interactions, but then if you linger for too long, it's like that feeling of uncertainty starts to kick in, and that's when she'll bark, kind of same like in the video. And that's why she does well at the dog park, because like she has that uncertainty, and she can almost kind of touch and go on people. Good girl. Very good. So she's curious and she's friendly, but then something else kicks in because she just doesn't have the experience or just is wary. And we just really want to do our best, like whenever possible. You have strangers that do want to meet her, you know, give them a treat to give to her, you know, talk to her beforehand, things like that. If you're working in teams, it'll help as well because your partner can, you know, wait behind, and then you can have your husband or your wife or, you know, or you can have her go up ahead and inform people and give them the treat or something like that. So that way they're better prepared, you know, you don't get those accidental startles and things like that. She doesn't do it with everybody though, which is good. But it also makes it harder because it's not consistent. You'll almost kind of want to err on the cautious side, but if things are going well, then it's good to try to test the waters every now and then too. We really want to try to get as many positive social interactions with her as possible to help with that uneasiness and that uncertainty. It's almost like a numbers game, but we don't know what the number is for her, you know.
Pop, what are you into?
Good girl.
What are you into, huh? Oh, no, Mom.
Good girl. Come on. No. The vest kind of helps sometimes, especially in crowds. Most of the time people will at least ask first, but sometimes, especially when it's dark right now or they approach quickly and she approaches in, you don't really have that time. Good girl. But it's just another way that you can kind of give a visual heads up to people about her before she even gets there, before they meet her. Depends. It's too early to call, and I don't know if I'll be able to even know for sure by like 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe if she makes really good progress and starts making friends with strangers in that time, then we would know that she's okay. But also it could just be her personality, you know, as well. She could just be one of those shy types. Yeah, that just needs more time in general to get used to strangers. We know that she can because, you know, she's obviously gotten used to me at least, and it can take very long. But that time that she needs might just be more than, you know, the few seconds that she has. There you go. I don't know, they might be in the middle of a photo shoot. It's almost like, hi, how you doing? might bark at you because she's unsure.
You can just use it to say hello.
Yeah. Girl. So she's curious, so we'll just hang out here for a little bit. If she wants to come back towards mom and dad, she can. But this way she can get used to people too without that abrupt interaction, you know, that kind of makes her uncomfortable. Plus they have cameras too, and might be that something that she's not used to seeing. And sometimes pups get scared when they, good girl, when they're introduced to new items, like umbrellas, things like that. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Poppi. Good girl.
Some people are yet.
That's up the shot.
Good girl.
It's good to have